Mustangs Saturday rolls on. The special guest this week joining me on the show, the owner, founder of the Mustangs, Dan Gerson, joining me. Dan, thanks for coming on, and it's good to have the owner. You know, we have Kai on all the time. Now we get the owner of the Mustangs.
Well, I appreciate it, Chris. Kai gets probably way too much airtime in St. Joe, so I'm sure people are pretty tired of him at this point. So I'm glad you asked me to be on. I appreciate it.
Hate to tell you this, but Kai has also already been on the show today too. So it's both of you. So you both get airtime this week.
All right. Yeah, Kai definitely needs some more airtime.
That's right.
Doesn't he?
He needs all the airtime.
Kai's got a lot to say.
He knows how to fill a segment. That's for sure. Like
he does.
We can get through a segment.
He's a professional. He really is.
We're trying to be, at least. Dan, thanks for coming on. We'll get right to it with this season so far. Just, I guess, looking at going into this year, I know there was a lot of how's this going to work, what's going to work. Just overall, your thoughts on seeing the season be able to go on like it is.
Well, this was a process. I mean, last year at this time, we didn't know what was going on, and it was very difficult. I mean, I have some restaurants, and we didn't know, really what the future would hold. We were hoping last year that we would have a season in 21, but it was really a tough process. I mean, Kai was really manning the fort by himself mostly, and we had, just discussions every day about what we need to do, and I'm just glad we're playing this year. I mean, there's things lagging this year as far as sponsorships and things like that, but in groups, but Kai's done and his staff have done an unbelievable job of getting this back on track this year, and Johnny too.
We've talked about it before, and Kai and I talked about it too. That missed season, I think people don't realize the magnitude maybe of not having a season just to keep the Mustangs going, keep everything going. But there was always that confidence that things would be back in 2021, wasn't there?
There was, but literally, I mean, you're dealing with something that was so unmanageable as far as the virus. You didn't know if it was going to settle down, because we have to think of, host families and the players on their long trips and our great fans. So we needed everybody to be healthy, and we're not the only team in the league. So we had always said, as a league, the Mink League, that everybody had to be on board with playing, because we weren't going to do a 4-team, schedule. So everybody's on board. We have a lot of, St. Joe, but we have some, fairly rural areas. And so everybody has different needs and different situations, but we all came together. And like I said, we're having a season this year. It's great.
Take me back to the very beginning of the Mustangs. I think you and I maybe touched on this, maybe not ever like on the air or anything. Just what went into, the Mustangs becoming such a big part of St. Joe, and what brought you into the fold and wanting to be a part of this?
Well, I had looked at various, options as kind of a minority partner, different teams. And this broker that I'd been working with said the Black Snakes were for sale. So I checked out a game, and I could, the stadium was what stuck out to me. It wasn't the team, because it was the end of the season, and it was obvious that, that there weren't very many people at the game, but the stadium, I just thought this could be a really good thing. So I talked to, Gary Roach, Mike Herter, Mayor Sharon, and they were totally on board. And I tried to work something out with the Black Snakes to buy that team. It didn't work out. The deal fell apart. But I knew that the Saints had been a big part of St. Joe for a while. So I went to Gary and Mike and the mayor and said, what if I did a college team like the Saints were? And they thought that was great. And I thought it was great too, because you have kids, players coming up, and they're excited. And, sometimes that's, that professional older guys, I'm not, can be great, but on the other hand, it can be guys that are just, on the downswing. But the college kids get, they're so exciting to watch. And it just worked out great. And I, hired Rick Montine. He was with the T-Bones. He came. That was a big part of, getting everything going and getting the foundation in place. And then Kai came on board. Kai's been here since day one. He was the assistant GM, and then he became the GM. And I think that took us to the next level, because instead of two guys that are pretty close to the same age, Kai brought in a whole different perspective, his promotions. I mean, I don't think I was ever going to be able to come up with, Frozen Night. I didn't even know what Frozen was.
I remember that night.
It was, remember the crowd? We had like our all-time biggest crowd, like 5,600. And now I know what Frozen is. And, but it just wouldn't have happened if it was just, a couple old guys trying to figure out promotions. So Kai coming in was, I think, the key. I mean, like I said, Rick built the foundation, but Kai came in and he knows the town and everybody knows him. Everybody loves Kai. And, he, coming on board with Kai took us to the next level, without a doubt. And the support of the city. I have to say that because the city, I told them, this is what it takes. This is what it will take for this to be successful. We have to do this to Phil Welsh. And they couldn't have been more helpful. I mean, I put in a lot of money to get the thing started and to do my improvements at Phil Welsh. But the city came in and did the deck and redid the press box and, a lot of things that were really huge. And without the city's help at the beginning, none of this could have possibly happened because there's no way it was going to be successful with the condition Phil Welsh was in.
You talked about, you and Rick starting off and then having Kai kind of come in and take things maybe to the next level just from, like you said, the promotion side, just keeping things going. Did you ever imagine the Mustangs would be as big as they are at this point? I mean, 6 Mink League titles. They've been kind of, one of the best, if not the best team in the Mink League for the past decade.
Well, we're leaving Matt Johnson out of the early stages of this. I met Matt at the, what was it, a Barnes & Noble in the North Shops, or was it, I don't remember, was it Borders? I don't know, it was a bookstore. And I met Matt there, and we just talked, and I talked to him for an hour, and I knew he was the guy because he brought a passion and he knew baseball, and I turned all the baseball side of it over to Matt, and he just ran with it. And when you win all those championships, you're going to be, people are going to know who you are. And it, allowed us, along with the promotions, the winning baseball certainly didn't hurt our attendance. So I have to say that everything put together, because the winning was never the most important thing to me. Our customers are, and that's the same way that the Big Biscuit started out. I mean, it has to be what's best for your customers, and everything else falls into place when you take care of your customers. So, the baseball side of it was great. All the winning has been phenomenal. Johnny, won in 19, and that's great to be able to say we won 6 Mink championships. But what is more important to me, and what makes me even prouder, is how well we take care of our customers, who are the fans that go to the games and support the Mustangs. What's
maybe one of your most, I guess, cherished memories so far of owning the Mustangs and seeing the success that the team's had?
That's a good question. I think that I get a kick out of going there. I would have to say the early crowds when we were getting 5,000, 5,500. I just couldn't believe. I knew we would be successful if we do everything the right way and take care of people. I knew St. Joe was going to support this team. Did I think we were going to get 5,000 a game? No, I didn't know. I didn't, but I knew we would get 2,500, 3,500. I knew we could get that on the weekends, Friday and Saturday. So it just, and the other thing I have to say that is a great memory are the early July 3rd and July 4th weekends, because just to see all those people and the pageantry and the bald eagle and the parachuters and everything that was going on, especially early, really, I remember those early July 3rds, it would make you a little emotional just that we had done this, and or that my staff had done this, and we had brought all these people together to watch the Mustangs and to celebrate America. And I really got a huge, that was so satisfying to me to see that. It still is.
I'll get you out of here on this one. You talk about you knew the Mustangs would be successful, and the St. Joe Sports Commission just came out with its Hall of Fame inaugural class this week, and there's a lot of baseball, softball names on that list. What's made St. Joe such a strong, you think, baseball, softball community that embrace the Mustangs, but there's so much rich tradition here too?
Well, I didn't know St. Joe before I came up here, and I think I'd come for a high school state game one time, but I didn't spend any time here. And once you spend time here, you realize the history and how much people in St. Joe respect and love the history of the city. And they also, the Cardinals had a presence here. At the same time, the Royals have a presence here. So, there had been a minor league team here, and then the Saints. So, and the Pony Express, who's, we're inducting into the Mustangs Hall of Fame this weekend. So there was just the high schools loved their baseball, and you had, Mo West with their success in baseball. And you could just tell it was just a baseball town. Where I'm from, Chicago, is a baseball town. You just know from how, educated people are about baseball and how they watch the games, and you just know early on that this is a baseball town. People love it.
All right, I lied to you. This is the last question. Will you come on again sometime?
Absolutely.
All right, Dan Gerson, the owner of the St. Joe Mustangs, thanks for coming on with me this week.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate you asking me to be on.
Of course, anytime.
And you do a great job on this, by the way. I really appreciate the job you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.